Naturally Beautiful Girl, where I talk about conscious beauty. And today I'm super excited to be sharing a brand new brand with you, and that is Rose Ink. And this brand kind of snuck up on me. I feel like it just kind of like launched out of nowhere. It launched directly into Sephora, which is really cool. And I just was drawn to try the brand because it reminds me of kind of Merit Beauty and being a very minimal line. There's mostly makeup, a little bit of skincare. I didn't pick up any of the skincare to try out because honestly, I've been very happy with the skincare products that I've been using and my skin. I mean, I'm not wearing any makeup right now. I feel like it's looking pretty darn good. I think I picked up every one of the makeup products in the line to try out with you guys. I will say this is not a first impression. I did try out the products yesterday. I figured it would actually be a little bit more helpful if I had worn them once so I could kind of give you some feedback on the longevity and kind of my thoughts. So it's not a full review, so I'm still kind of in the initial stages of forming my thoughts, but because the brand is so new, I really wanted to get this video out so you guys could see the products in action. Before I go any further, be sure to subscribe to my channel if you like hearing about conscious beauty. Maybe a little bit of lifestyle content thrown in here and there. I'm going to try and incorporate a little bit more of that into my channel. Also, be sure to come follow me on Instagram. I'm at naturallybeautifulgirlkat there. And let's go ahead and jump right in. So first off, I have to say, I absolutely adore the packaging of this brand. Like when I got the concealer, I was just like, this is such cool packaging. This part here with the concealer is frosted. You can see it says Rose Ink on it. And then I love that this has this like curved top like this, but it's also not rounded. It's squared off. I don't know. Something about this I really, really like. I did get the concealer in the shade LX10. I was super impressed by the shade range of this concealer. And obviously I have very fair porcelain skin. I don't have a deeper skin tone, but from my first glance at the shades, it really looked like there were a lot of shades and they weren't all just they weren't all just focused on the lighter skin end of the spectrum. And also, I mean, this is a small detail, but I thought it was worth mentioning. I did purchase these from Sephora, but when I was initially looking at the products on the Rose Ink website, and I appreciate that when I pulled up the concealer, it actually brought up the deeper shades first. Like I feel like it's a small detail, but so many times when you go to click on a foundation product, it just shows the lightest shade first. Whereas like, who decided that? That's kind of arbitrary. I really appreciate that this actually pulled up the deepest shades first. I am going to be applying this today. I did wear this yesterday. I have to say too, in case this concealer shade looks a little bit light on me, I did put on some self tanner, so I'm looking a little bit more on the tan side than I normally am. When I did use this concealer yesterday, it was a really good shade match for me. I just want to say that in case it looks a little bit light on camera today. So this concealer I found yesterday had quite a bit of coverage and I got way too much on, so I'm going to try and be really minimal with this. It does have a very large doe foot applicator, which I like. I feel like most of the doe foot applicators are kind of small. This one has a nice large one, nice and large and in charge. So yeah, today I'm going to take the approach of applying a little bit concealer and then we're going to build it up as needed. Because yesterday I just had way too much and it was taking me forever to kind of blend it out. And I think it didn't wear the best on me. And I think a large reason for that was I just had too much product on. Like, there is nothing like too much concealer to make your concealer look kind of crepey and creasy and just not hold up well. I should mention they did have a concealer brush in the line. I obviously didn't pick that up because I'm using my fingers right now. I did pick up their blush brush, so we'll be using that. But the concealer brush I didn't pick up because I just really use my fingers the majority of the time. I'm just gonna put a little bit more right here on the inner corner where I have some darker circles. I did sleep really well last night, but for some reason I still got some dark circles showing up. Here are my thoughts. Quite a bit of coverage. You can see this is super brightening. Like I said, I do have Hynt self tanner, so it's making me look a little bit more tan. I like this shade in that it's not too pink, it's not too yellow, like it's very much just like a neutral undertone shade for concealer. If you have really porcelain skin like I do, I find it so hard to find concealer shades or foundation shades that are just like neutral and undertone. For some reason, people think that you have fair skin and it's either going to be super pink or like really yellow. And it's like a lot of us just have a neutral undertone. So I like the undertone of this concealer. Like I said, the shade range was very extensive. I'm not sure how many shades there were. I'll pop the number up here of how many shades there are in the concealer. I do like the way this is looking a lot better today. Like I said yesterday, I just had way too much on and it was really kind of creasing and stuff, which I didn't like. Obviously I'll be setting this. I very much suspect that this is going to wear a lot better with just having less on under the eyes. But yeah, I like it. Like I said, it looks really brightening. I think once we get the rest of my face pulled together, it'll look a little bit less crazy. So that being said, we're gonna move on to blush. And this is a cream blush. Yay, we know how I feel about cream blushes. I, once again, absolutely adore this packaging. I don't know, it's just the shape, the texture of it. It is a refillable blush. You can purchase just the refill or this whole compact. I purchased the whole compact. It does come with a mirror in it. And then the blush shade itself, I have the shade Heliotrope. I can't remember how it was described as, but it just looked like a nice shade online. So I picked this one up. It looked like a cat shade. I think there were like 4 or 5 shades of the blush. And then, where did I put the brush? Oh, here it is. I didn't use the brush yesterday because I wanted it to still be like clean and nice to show you guys. This is the blush brush. I love the handle of it. This whole line is just so aesthetic. This is the number 2 brush. Like I said, there was a concealer brush as well. Why I picked this up was the shape of it was kind of unique. I haven't really used a blush brush like this. It's a stippling brush, but it's kind of got a slant to it. The one thing that's a little bit disappointing, and I couldn't tell this online, is the blush brush itself is very small. I feel like it could have stood to be just a little bit bigger. It would have made like actually getting blush on your cheeks a little bit easier, because I feel like we're gonna have to do quite a bit of a dabbing to get this kind of all blended out. But I am going to try this for the first time today. I did use the blush yesterday. I liked it quite a bit. It wasn't an overly creamy formula. And I found that it actually stayed really nicely on me throughout the day, which was good to see. That doesn't always happen with blushes. So overall, I have to say I do like this blush. My first time using it, it was really nice. Like I said, it wasn't overly creamy or sticky, and then it did wear well, and that's kind of what I want. And it's got a nice level of pigmentation. This color, I mean, I could dupe this color pretty easily. It's not that unusual of a color, but I like it. I'm trying to figure out how I feel about this brush. I think my initial thought that it's a little small is kind of sticking. If you can see, I'm blending this blush out pretty quickly because it's easy to blend out. I'm not struggling with it at all, but I wish the brush was a little bit bigger. I don't think it's my favorite brush to use for that. Like the usual, sorry, this brush is kind of dirty, but the usual brush I use is like this Real Techniques stippling brush, and you can see the size difference in these 2 brushes. And this is just gonna apply blush so much faster because it's just larger. So even though this brush feels nice, it's doing a great job of blending out the product. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it just because of the size. I mean, if you have small cheeks and you've been looking for a small brush to use, I mean, that's one thing, but I got quite a bit of real estate in the cheek area, and this is not quite big enough for me. I like this blush a lot. It's just a nice level of pigmentation. It wears well. That's what we're looking for. So with that being said, I am going to go ahead and set my under eyes. I always use my Fortini setting powder. There wasn't a setting powder in the line, so I'm just going to set quickly off camera. I'm also going to apply my Hynt Beauty, let me pull it out here. My Hynt Beauty Encore Pressed Setting Powder. This is what I've been using as a powder foundation. I haven't been wearing a lot of like foundations this summer. I've really been reaching for this. I mean, we're moving into fall, but it's still pretty warm here. So I'm going to be using this as my foundation, and then I'll jump back and then we'll talk about some other products. Also, there wasn't a like eye product, so there wasn't like an eyeshadow or a mascara, so I just threw on some eyeshadow and mascara. But now we are ready to move on. So there's interestingly not a highlighter in the collection. I find that kind of surprising. I would have expected with the aesthetic of the line there would be a highlighter, but there isn't one. It's interesting though too, because I haven't been wearing highlighter as much recently. I think especially with like wearing a mask, I don't know, haven't been wearing a highlighter. But we will move on to brows. So they did come out with some brow gels. They have a clear version as well as a tinted. Of course, I went for the tinted brow gel. You guys know I'm a big fan of tinted brow gel. I have quite full brows finally. I feel like I've been trying to grow them out for like 5 years now, but I'm very happy with how my brows are. And so I really mainly use a brow gel as my only brow product, just because it's fast, it's easy, and it kind of takes care of filling them in and getting them kind of groomed. I do have the brow gel in the shade 4. I think this was like a medium brown. There was an auburn shade, but it looked kind of reddish. And there's nothing I despise more than having red brows because my hair is not red. So this is what the spoolie looks like. It's just a very standard brow gel spoolie, nothing really special about it. This formula is interesting. I find it to be a bit of a thinner formula, which isn't my favorite normally because it doesn't provide as much hold. I keep saying I have a lot of brow hair. I need a lot of hold in my brow gels, and this one does hold it more than I would have suspected just based off the formula alone. But it's not, I wouldn't say it's my favorite. The one thing I do like about this though is because the brow formula is a little thinner, I feel like it creates a much more natural fill. Like my brows don't end up looking too dark. It doesn't look like I super obviously have a brow product in, which I like. So I think if you're kind of into this more kind of natural looking brows, this could be a good product for you. But if you really want something with a lot of hold, I would still recommend the Kosas brow gel just because that has some of the best hold I found. I also like the Pacifica High's Def Fiber Brow Gel, but that one only comes in a couple shades. The Kosas comes in a lot more shades. So for that reason, I've kind of, oops, I'm getting brow gel everywhere. I kind of recommend that one over the Pacifica now. But yeah, I like this. I wouldn't say it's the most hold, but I do like how natural it keeps my brows looking. Okay, so the final product, which I kind of think is the piece de resistance of the line, is this one right here. This is their lip crayon. I'm holding upside, oh no, I'm not holding upside down. This is their lip crayon. I have the shade Still. Let me pull this out for you. So it's a retractable lip crayon. Let me tell you, I love a lip crayon. I don't even think I talk about this enough on my channel. I find that to be a bit more of a long wearing lip product compared to just a regular lipstick. And I love a good long wearing lip product, especially with wearing masks and everything. It is just a lot easier. And here's the thing. Back before all this, I would go into the office, and when I put on a lip product in the morning, I didn't want it to be a high maintenance thing where I was having to touch it up all throughout the day. So I'm always looking for these like long wearing lip products. I just think they're a lot easier. Like who wants to constantly be reapplying lipstick, especially if you're in like an office setting? I don't know. So this one here is kind of more red. I honestly thought when I was purchasing it that it would be a little bit less red. I thought it was gonna be a little bit more of like a wearable red. It's a red, but you know what? I was wearing it yesterday. My husband was like, "Your lips look great. I love that color." So it is a very fun, very pretty color, and I have to say, spoiler alert, I love this formula. I'm going to go ahead and apply it, and I'll talk about it a little bit more, but I do really enjoy it. This color is so pretty. If you're looking for a fun red, this color is beautiful. But I seriously am thinking about purchasing this in more colors. I've only had it for 2 days and I'm like already like, I need more colors. Here's why. It goes on super easily, it glides on, but it immediately starts kind of drying down and it becomes more of a, I'm gonna call it like a powder matte finish. Here's the thing. It doesn't feel drying at all. I wore this all day yesterday. It doesn't feel drying. It does dry down. It's not creamy. I wouldn't describe it as creamy, but I would describe it as like very neutral. It's not creamy and it's not dry. It's just like right in the middle. It feels like you have nothing on your lips. It just feels like normal lips. That's how I would describe it. It also looks nice because it isn't as drying as some other kind of more matte lip formulas. It's not like accentuating lines in my lips or anything. So it looks really nice. It is going to transfer. It's not a transfer proof lipstick. You know, if I, let me see. Like I kiss my hand, some comes off on my hand. It's not a ton by any means. It's just only a little bit, but like it is going to transfer some. But what I really like about it too is because the transfer is pretty minimal, it does keep a lot of color on throughout the day. And even as it did wear off, I think partly because it was this red, it kind of stained my lips a bit, but it did just provide color throughout the day. So for me, it checks all the boxes of being long wearing, of being very comfortable, of looking flattering. Yeah, I need more of these shades. That's it, plain and simple. So I do really like this. I'm gonna quickly kind of round up the products and tell you which ones are my favorite. I mean, I guess it's kind of obvious. I love this lip crayon. Like if you had to go try one product from the line, that would be the one I would recommend. I also really like the blush. I find it to just be a really nice blush formula. And I do like that it has refillable packaging. That's a really nice addition as well. The concealer I do like, it's quite full coverage. I forgot to mention that it's more of a lightweight concealer. I didn't find it to be as like thick and creamy as like the Kosas Revealer concealer. It's a little bit more on the lightweight side, but when I actually apply the proper amount, I do like how it looks into my eyes. It's nice and brightening, and it does provide a good deal of coverage. You do not need to use that much. That's the moral of my story here, is you don't need to use that much concealer to really get a good level of coverage. The brow product I do like. I like how it gives my brows a very natural look. If you've had problems in the past with brow gels, just making your brows look too dark and too intense, I think you would like this product. But as I mentioned before, if you want extreme, if you really want your brows glued in place, go for the Kosas. It just provides more hold, but I do actually really like how this looks. And my brows are held in place. Like when I touch them, they're not, they are held. It's just not as intense of a level of hold. But I would say, I think I like this one better than the Merit Beauty brow gel. I feel like those are kind of similar. I like this formula better. I'm still trying to figure out my thoughts on the Fit Glow brow gel. I've been playing around with that. I like it. I don't know if I like it better than, I think I like this one a little better than that one. I think this one has a little bit more hold. Oh, and the brush. We forgot the brush. The brush I would not recommend. It's a little small. I feel like just a regular stippling brush is a better vehicle for applying it. It's a very aesthetic brush, very beautiful, but not as practical as some other brushes. So I hope you found this review helpful. If you did, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. And of course, subscribe to my channel, come follow me on Instagram, and thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!